Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Simone Collins, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm the Director of Outreach for Mental Health Services of UHS. I'll be moderating our session today titled, Am I Just Bad at This? How Procrastination Actually Works. So welcome, or welcome back, if you've attended some of our earlier sessions, to the inaugural Mental Health and Wellbeing Summit, where we're offering workshops and activities for students to take a break and take care of their mental and physical health. Before we continue, I invite us to take a moment to reflect on the land on which we currently reside. If you are in Madison, like I am, we are guests on the ancestral home of the Ho-Chunk Nation. The University of Wisconsin-Madison occupies Ho-Chunk land, a place their nation has called Dejope since time immemorial. Today, UW-Madison respects the inherent sovereignty of the Ho-Chunk Nation, along with the 11 other First Nations of Wisconsin. I want to thank Professional Interpreting Enterprise for providing interpretation and captioning, and the Wisconsin Union Campus Event Services for producing this event. The closed captioning button will appear in the toolbar at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We'll also be using the Q&A function today, which is also located in your toolbar at the bottom of your screen. This will be open for any questions you may have of our presenter, so feel free to add them as the presentation goes on, and we'll make sure to get to them at the end of the presentation. So now I will turn the space over to today's presenter, Blake Bettis.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's presentation on procrastination, which is everyone's favorite topic in the whole world, I'm pretty sure. So give me just a moment to share my screen, do all that fun Zoom stuff that we all love. And I'll talk a little bit. I'll introduce myself and all that. But yes, hi, my name is Blake Bettis, pronouns he, him, his. I'm one of the postdoctoral fellows at the Counseling Center this year, or Mental Health Services. And yeah, I am in the groups emphasis, so I spend a lot of time running groups and workshops. And I also have a strong personal interest in working with the queer community and stuff, so that's a little that you can know about me today. Any further questions, you can save them for the Q&A, or you can just, be curious about who I am. Just, keep it to yourself, I guess. But yes, so let's talk a little bit about procrastination. We've got a bit of a journey to take together at this point. So let's dive on in. What are we doing today? What do we want to accomplish? First up, obviously, what even is procrastination? Why do we care? Why does it happen to us? Why do we find ourselves caught in that cycle repeatedly that seems to just get in the way of so many things? We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about how to improve your ability to manage distractions that impair your focus, that also contribute to this procrastination cycle. We'll learn some organization and planning strategies to boost your productivity and efficiency. And we'll also talk a little bit about how you can best build a support system from yourself, from other people that you're connected with, and from the university. So I certainly hope that you can all take something valuable away from our discussion today. So let's go ahead and jump on in. How do you know if you're procrastinating? Here are some signs. You might be procrastinating if you leave something on your to-do list for a really long time. Maybe you let emails just sit in the inbox and you've read them so you can get rid of the notification, but you haven't actually responded to them yet or followed up on them. You'll find yourself always busy, but none of the things that you're doing are actually at the top of your to-do list. They feel really important in the moment, but you end the day and you still have that sort of anxious spiral as your head hits the pillow and realize, oh crap, this test is approaching and I didn't study for it today, or this project that's due on Friday, I didn't actually do the things that I said I was going to do today for it. How did that happen? Maybe you do actually start working on your high priority task, but it's only when you're in the right mood, if you feel like it, when you feel motivated. Maybe you waited until some arbitrary right time, some sort of mythical time that you've designated as the appropriate time to start your project. These are all common things you might notice. You also might notice you're procrastinating if you are thinking to yourself, wow, I really should be working on this thing, but crap, I didn't turn off Netflix before I played the next episode. That sort of stuff. You'll all probably have your own examples from your own life of ways that this manifests for you. So that's always an important first step. Start reflecting a little bit on ways that you notice the cycle really taking hold of you. So let's move on. Why do we do this to ourselves? We don't love it. Like, it makes us miserable. Approximately 80% of students and 25% of working adults admit to being chronic procrastinators, meaning this is something that just seems to be the default. You've got things to do. You have always got things to do of varying importance, and yet you always find yourself somehow waiting until the very last minute. Maybe you even miss the deadline. You're turning things in late. Why? Why would we do this to ourselves? It's clearly not something that makes us feel good. There are a lot of different reasons, and maybe things on this list jump out to you. Maybe you respond to some of these. Maybe you just find the things you're supposed to be doing really boring. They don't hold your interest. Maybe they feel too difficult. It feels really intimidating. It feels imposing. You think about doing it, and your whole body is just, no, I can't. That's going to be too hard. That makes me upset to think about. Maybe the task isn't well defined. You know, you need to do this thing, it's a big task, but when you actually try to think about accomplishing it, it's just this vague shadow in your future, and you don't know how to go about tackling it. Maybe the task that you're supposed to be accomplishing is something that scares you emotionally, interpersonally, personally. Maybe it scares you because you're afraid of how it will turn out. You're afraid that it won't turn out as well as you wanted it to turn out. Yeah, the perfectionism thing is also really common. You think, as long as I don't put as much time into this as I'm supposed to, as long as I don't put in as much effort as I think I can, if it turns out poorly, at least I know why that happened. I have like a reason that's not maybe something deeper. That's not, oh, this means that I'm bad at this, or I'm not good at doing these things that I want to do. These are all really, really common reasons. So let's talk about it, because procrastination is not some unitary phenomenon. As you might have guessed from our previous slide, people do this for all sorts of different reasons, and people have different motivations for doing it. So there's slightly different styles, and it can really help us as we think about how to start tackling it. If we can start maybe identifying which of these really seems to play the biggest role in our life. Maybe you're an arousal type thrill seeker. This was me in undergrad, unfortunately. Not my favorite memories, but it was the thrill of waiting until the last minute and pulling off a big project and feeling sort of a bit of a twisted sense of pride. Look at this thing, like look at what I could accomplish when I like really backed myself into a corner. Not sustainable, does not feel great. Glad that I sort of moved past that a little bit. Maybe that's what is happening for you. Maybe you're somebody who just avoids tasks because the idea of perhaps not doing as well at them as you feel like you should is really scary. So as long as you put it off, you don't have to face the consequences of it. Maybe you're a decisional procrastinator. Maybe it just paralyzes you to make choices about how to spend your time. And maybe you think, if I just don't make the choice to start doing this, then it's not actually a thing that I have to attend to. I don't really have to, like, it's not my responsibility if I just procrastinate making the decision to start. That's really common. Maybe it's just that you actually really struggle with the skills that are required to organize your time, to make use of it effectively. It's really hard for you to break tasks down into their appropriate priorities, into the appropriate steps necessary. And, perhaps you're procrastinating because this is actually a sign of some other mental health concerns. Perhaps this is what's the word I'm looking for? Consequence. Perhaps this is a consequence of, depressive symptoms, anxiety symptoms, or other things like that. ADHD is a really common thing that people start suspecting when they realize that they're struggling with these sorts of things. So perhaps that falls into that category. All good things to reflect on. Well, I just pulled my earphones right out of my ear. So let's talk a little bit about like what actually happens. What does procrastination tend to look like? We love cycles, we love diagrams in this profession, so hopefully this is something that you enjoy as well. We like to break it down into a couple of these like stages or steps here, right? The very first one being you start to approach a task or a goal, or it starts approaching you. You recognize that this thing needs to be accomplished. suddenly all of these things, these assumptions, these unhelpful sort of arbitrary rules get activated and start getting in your way. You start feeling discomfort as the thing approaches, as you realize that you're not actually working towards accomplishing it, and you start doing all sorts of sort of personal things that you've developed over time to start managing the discomfort that you start feeling, none of which are actually working towards the goal. And then, yeah, we get into all of these sort of elaborate things, distracting ourselves, working on less important things, these procrastination activities. Then the consequences come, right? We find ourselves the night before an exam cramming, or a research paper is due, and we are just working on reading through the literature, and it's the night before, and we start experiencing just all of this distress and all of this pain. And we turn something in, but we're running on no sleep and 5 cups of coffee, and you feel like crap, and the grade is maybe not what you wanted, or maybe it is, but you don't feel good about it because you're just exhausted. And then you continue on to do it the next time. So what's happening at each of these stages, right? Unhelpful assumptions. This is a list of some really common ones that really get activated for people. The first one, needing to be in charge. Maybe you just find yourself really resenting the idea that you need to do things when other people like set the due date, right? Like maybe it's just, you're like, this isn't how life should be. I shouldn't have to do things I don't want to do it, or just because somebody else like says I'm supposed to do it. But that one gets activated all the time. Maybe you find yourself sort of turning a little, some of those like hedonistic sort of urges start showing up, and you realize, life is too short. I have a whole philosophy change. Like, I should only spend my time on things that feel good and that feel pleasurable in the moment. I should always prioritize fun over these like less interesting things that I spend my time on. The fear of failure. I really don't want other people to think badly of me, so I'm just going to avoid working on this because I really don't want them to see and judge the thing that I might produce once I accomplish this task. Maybe you start catastrophizing. Oh my God, what if it's terrible? What if I spend all my time working on this and it just sucks and I get a bad grade and my professor points at me in front of the class and calls me names and laughs at me, and then my mother calls me on the phone and chews me out, and then I'm crying for the rest of my life. We get caught up in these really, really just elaborate scenarios of anxiety. And I mean, maybe I'm hyperbolizing a little bit more than you do. That is unfortunately one of my skill sets. Low self-confidence. I can't do it. I'm not actually, this task is too big. Maybe it's in a class that you like don't feel like you're doing well in. It's like, this is just another thing that I'm not good enough and I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, this is outside my skill set, instead of seeing it as something that maybe helps you build a new skill set. Or this is probably one of the most common, especially this year and especially at this point in the semester. I'm too tired. I'm too stressed. I've been stressed for a month and a half now. I am out of energy. I have no resources left. I have no motivation. I am depressed. These are all the things that get activated, right, when we start approaching that task. So discomfort, procrastination exercises, I'm skipping on past that, it looks like. No, we've already actually talked about some of that, right? You start noticing the discomfort of those feelings and you start doing all of these other things to distract yourself, doing things that help you feel less anxious in the moment, but they don't actually help you take care of the thing that's making you feel anxious in the first place, which is the task, right? So what can we do? How can we like interrupt this cycle? How can we introduce things into this to turn it into a doing cycle instead of procrastination cycle? So we want to maybe adjust those rules and assumptions. We want to build our skills at tolerating that discomfort that shows up, as opposed to trying to avoid it or make it go away. And we can start, building up our arsenal to start dismissing some of those procrastination excuses and start actually encouraging ourselves towards our goals and towards accomplishing the tasks that we want to. And yeah, applying some of those practical strategies to stop procrastination, which we will be talking about sometime shortly. So this first thing that I really like to remind people about here is that a lot of what happens as these cycles start getting activated is that we really start being kind of hard on ourselves. Like, it's really easy to get into a headspace where we're not very compassionate, where we're really judgy, where we're talking bad about ourselves to ourselves. So as we start approaching some of these more practical tips, these more practical strategies that you might try to implement, recognize for yourself that it's going to be maybe a bit of a learning curve to start changing some of these habits that might have been lifelong habits at this point that have been around for a long time. That takes work and it takes compassion. Don't turn beating procrastination into another task that just makes you feel crappy about yourself and that you then want to avoid. And then the procrastination thing becomes this weird meta experience that nobody enjoys, right? Like just getting way too inception at that point. Not interested in it. So think about, as you implement some of these things, how can you coach yourself? Think back to maybe good coaches or teachers or parents or role models, people you've interacted with. What were the things they did? How did they actually talk to you to motivate you and to help you approach things that felt challenging? Use some proactive self-talk, right? Instead of replace those shoulds. Those shoulds activate all sorts of just unhelpful like patterns for us, right? Think about maybe actually I do want to do this. Maybe this particular assignment is not the most exciting thing, but I do want to get my degree. Like I do want to pass this class. Like I do want this in some way. I am making the choice to do it as opposed to being cornered into doing it. I will do this, right? Changing some of this internal self-talk as we approach these tasks is super important. And like I said, I beat the slide to the punch because self-compassion is really important to me. Allow yourself flexibility. And this goes for as you're approaching tasks in the future as well. Like allow flexibility. Life is unpredictable. We cannot fully control it. Like expect that things are going to catch you off guard or you're going to have to pivot at the last moment. Allow yourself maybe to recognize that maybe right now the most important thing I can do is a quick relaxation or something because I really need it. Be willing to be flexible with yourself. Start requiring some accountability. We'll talk about that a little later. Notice what's going well, what you're actually doing well. It's really easy to get caught only focusing on the things that we're struggling with, on the things that we're avoiding, on the things that don't turn out the way we want it to. The more we can change what we're focusing on to the things that are going well, the things that we're succeeding on, the more motivated you're going to feel to make some of these changes and to keep challenging some of these patterns for yourself. And that is where it fits into this little doing cycle that we talked about already. So practical strategies, everybody's most exciting thing here. Let's start thinking about overcoming procrastination. All right, what's the very, very first step? Before you've even actually started the task itself, you've gotten an assignment, you've gotten a work assignment, you've got a personal goal you want to work towards. What's the first step? Break it down. Like, you know that maybe you want to write this paper and turn it in, right? But there are a lot of steps between not having started and submitting a paper. So what are the steps? Well, maybe you think about, okay, well, I need to actually develop a thesis. And even that means that I need to have read the material that I'm supposed to be responding to. So you break it down further and further. I need to read, I need to brainstorm, I need to develop a thesis, then I need to outline, then I need to write a draft and get some feedback, and then I need to edit it. Break it down into all these steps so you can actually have some concrete idea of what needs to happen when. And then after you've done that, you get a chance to prioritize, okay, so out of all these assignments that are coming due in the next 2 weeks, which are the most important, which are the most urgent, like they have the shortest deadline? How do I structure all of these individual tasks day to day to make sure that I'm really hitting the top priority and then moving down the line? Do a little self-assessment. I am a night owl. I'm a very, very hardcore sort of lifelong night owl. I have been working to maybe try to change it a little bit with moderate success. But notice for yourself, when are you actually the most productive? What is the natural rhythm of your body's energy, of your mind's energy? Do you wake up in the morning and you're just like ready to hit the ground and you're ready to go? Like let's do this thing. I can focus really well. I don't get distracted as easily in the mornings. Maybe you wake up in the morning and the thought of focusing your attention on something sounds just utterly miserable because you're groggy, you need time to wake up, you need to, go about your day, maybe doing just some personal time or something like that. Assess this for yourself, figure that out, and then plan accordingly. Instead of see what ways you might be able to make your schedule actually fit the natural rhythm of your body already. Find some harmony there. And yeah, rewards are your friends. We love rewards. It's really easy to get caught in this like mindset of punishing, of driving ourselves to our task. And if we don't do the thing, then we beat ourselves up verbally, or then we're going to punish ourselves by taking away our time to do like spend time with friends or do pleasurable things and spend more time on the thing that we have not been accomplishing. Maybe actually like try to flip that on its head. What can you do to reward yourself for doing what you set out to do, for actually spending the time that you agreed to spend each day on this task? What are the things that make you motivated to sit down and get stuff done? Is it time with friends, a significant other? Is it you just really love Netflix? Is it, maybe some sort of dessert, some sort of treat? I love food motivation. I'm all about it, Find out what works for you. So I've talked about prioritizing. That tends to be something that's really challenging. It's nice to say that, yeah, I need to start with the most important thing. But what happens when everything that you have feels important? How do you actually break it down and figure out what should fall at the top of the list and what should fall towards the bottom? This matrix, this Eisenhower matrix, is a favorite. I love this system. I think it's a really great way of sort of just a little bit of a guideline, right? Like these little quadrants to help you start informing some of your choices. So let's take a moment to look at this, this little matrix together here. We've got the first quadrant over here, number 1, important and urgent. We've got important but not urgent, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about these categories just a little bit. The first one, obviously, right? So what we're seeing is that we should be evaluating each task based on these two sort of axes, right? It is important because it has significant consequences, because it aligns with my personal values, it aligns with something that I want to achieve, or it doesn't, right? That's sort of what that axis is about. Like, how much does this actually matter to you personally and sort of concretely in your life and for the goals that you want to achieve? So this does require, what do you actually want? Like, what are your goals? What do you want to be working towards? The more you can make that clear, the easier it is to figure out, well, this like 1-page reading response in this one class, like it's due tomorrow. But what is also due tomorrow is this other thing, this project that is actually like really, really important to me because it's in a class that's super important for my major. It is important because it is a project that I'm hoping to build on further down the line. Like maybe that needs to be where my time goes right now. And if I have time left, I'll get to this like other smaller thing that I don't really care as much about. I'm not actually advocating that you like skip assignments and stuff like that. Maybe that shouldn't be your primary takeaway from today. But sometimes it comes down to that, although we hope that it does not happen that way often. And that is a sort of time management thing that we're hoping you can think a little bit about, right? So yeah, is this important to me? Is this important to my values? Is it urgent? Is it actually like, when is it due? Like, is this a time sensitive thing? If I don't do this today, do I still have a chance to get to it tomorrow? If I don't do it this week, am I still able to get to it next week? Because if the answer is no, it's a little bit more urgent, right? Like it is on a fixed schedule and you have got to either get it done or not get it done. So those two axes are really important to think about here. The first category, as you look at your syllabi, as you look at all of the different things that you're obligated to do for the rest of the semester, like find the things that fit in that first category, right? This thing is due next week. And after that, they will not accept a submission. And also this is like in the class that is like the capstone class for my major, or it is in the like whatever turns out with this project is going to be super informative for how I go about like the rest of my degree or something like that. Those are the things that you should be prioritizing in terms of giving them like time first and giving them most time. The things that maybe are super important, but they're less urgent, right? Like this thing is really important. It is in the same class, but it's not due for the next 3 weeks instead of 2. Like, you have some time to work on that. And that can easily fall into the second category, right? Like I'm gonna get to those because they have really significant consequences if I do or don't. But I cannot prioritize that over this thing that has super significant consequences and is due like next week, right? Then we fall down to the things. They're less important in terms of your personal values, but maybe they're like really urgent. Maybe it is due at the end of the week and it's not as important as the things in those first two categories, but if you're able to give yourself time to get it done, it would be best for you to do that. Like you're able to allot it like some time, like, okay, I have reached my goals consistently for these first two categories. I've still got some extra time in my day that I need to use for something. Let's use it to work towards these goals here. And the last one, these are things, they're not important to you in terms of how they're going to affect your life or how they align with your values or your goals. They don't really have any particular due dates. I mean, unfortunately, this is kind of where, unless you're like a film studies student or like some sort of cultural criticism or like, film critic or something like that, like where maybe, like for me, category 4 is populated with like Netflix and stuff like that. It feels really urgent when I want to watch it, maybe because I want to avoid spoilers on Twitter or something, but it's not actually like, it will be there and I can get to it when I get to it. That's category 4. So this is just a really helpful little lens that can help you start making some of those choices as you think about organizing your time. Setting goals. I've mentioned goals a handful of times. This is a really, really common framework, the SMART goals. It's common because it's actually really helpful and because it's really important sort of framework to use. But it's also probably something that y'all are relatively familiar with at this point. When we think about setting goals, like the vaguer they are, the less easy it is for us to work towards them. So the more specific we can make them, the more we can actually break them down into tasks that we will know, we can measure whether or not we have achieved them. That's really the next two pieces. So I just covered 2 letters there. You're welcome. The more realistic they are, like, can you actually get like, this whole paper done in this one evening? Or should you maybe break it down into a couple of other evenings instead of just this one? And timely, like, is this like giving you a framework for when it will be done, for how long you're going to spend doing it? These are all really important steps to take. Bullet journals. We're kind of bouncing around a little bit right now because we're going to just be talking about all sorts of different tools you can make use of. I love bullet journals. I'm actually terrible at using them, but I really love them for some reason. So it's sort of a really conflicted relationship there. Some people are capable of doing this thing on the left, which I just find absolutely incredible. My brain is not capable of producing that. I would procrastinate on trying to set up my pages that way. So that's not a good strategy for me. But maybe you're somebody who is capable of setting that up and you find it relaxing or you find it really helpful. But why bullet journals are so great is because they don't expect you to follow some sort of linear process. You can adapt it to whatever works for you. So I recommend this to a lot of people all the time. Things like audio journaling or taking like audio notes, things like, sticky notes. Is that what they're called? Post-its, there we go. Those sorts of things, all sorts of different methods that you can use as you go through your days trying to break out your time and to make sure that you're working towards these concrete goals. All of those can be super helpful. On this theme of actually breaking things down and writing to-do lists, a really solid suggestion is to, instead of breaking down a daily to-do list or instead of only doing that, do a to-do list for each project. Do like a little checklist, a little step-by-step sort of breakdown. This is helpful for several reasons because this is actually a callback to several things we've spoken about at this point. Think about breaking things down into their component tasks. This will help you actually have a visual sort of sense of how many steps are left between you and the end of this assignment or the end of this project. Think about being able to do it that way can really give you a clear sense of how much progress you have made, how much you still have left. And yeah, it's in general just a little bit better than a daily to-do list overall in terms of helping you break things down. Maybe finding some way to integrate these two will be really helpful for you if you really are attached to being able to shape your daily sort of to-do list, which can certainly be helpful. Limit distractions. This is a huge one. This is really a huge one. This is also a hard one. In some ways, it's gotten easier this year for those of us who've been stuck at home or in dorms. In some ways, it's gotten harder because we have less control over our environments, depending on who you are and where you are. So this is a really important thing to be proactive about and to really take an honest assessment of what you're dealing with. As you actually are sitting down to do your tasks, to do your homework, to do your studying, that sort of stuff, what are the things that are vying for your attention? Are you getting notifications on your phone or on your computer? Are you hearing people, running up and down the hallway? Are people calling you or trying to get your attention because they don't know that you're working on things that this is your study time or something? Are there, is there a pile of books that you've been meaning to get to that have nothing to do with your assignments, but you just like maybe interested in, and maybe that'll be a really easy thing to get distracted by when you're sitting down to try to work on something. Think about all these different things. Really try to take an honest sort of assessment of the things that are affecting you in your day-to-day life as you sit down. Like, what is in your environment? Do you have a place that is quiet? Can you find a place? Can you rent one of the rooms at the library? Can you have conversations with your roommates about coordinating, quiet times or times like when they're out of the apartment and you're like still there, and that's a great time for you to do homework. Really look at these different options. Is it a time of day thing? Is it easier for you to get distracted when it's like after work or after school and you're tired from a day of focusing on classes and you just don't have the energy to resist distractions? Noise level, access to others, cleanliness, is the space cluttered? Are there a bunch of things that can catch your attention in the space? All of these things, the more you can think about them and sort of start thinking about ways that you can actively address or reduce them for those times when you're actually going to be sitting down and working towards your goals, the better it's going to be for you just overall. It takes a lot of energy cognitively and emotionally to resist distractions. It takes a lot less energy to remove them from affecting you in the first place. That's going to be better overall. Electronics, we've already talked about that a little bit. Other things. You are going to get distracted. Like, our brains are not, in fact, like perfect little computers where you can give them a task and it's going to start until it's over. You're going to get distracted. Things are like either internally or externally. So what are some things that you can do to help you manage this? One of my favorites is delayed distraction. This is like keeping a scratch pad, keeping the Post-it notes, a little journal or a pad of paper or something like that on hand with you when you're sitting down to do your tasks. And when something, there's this like thing that happens for us, like we sit down to start working on something and then suddenly we remember every other goal that we have. And for some reason, those feel suddenly like that's what you should be doing with this time, even though I set aside maybe this like hour to study for this exam that's coming up. But now I'm thinking, oh my God, what about this assignment that's due in a couple of weeks, or this assignment that's due next week? Like, should I maybe use this time for that instead? Keeping a pad where you can just like make a little note to yourself about this thing is really helpful, because you write it down, you acknowledge that the thought is there, you make note of it so that you have the option of returning to it and reassessing and reprioritizing at the end of that time that you agreed to sit down and work on this. Really, really helpful way of managing some of those distractions. Check in with yourself. Like, this is all about using your time intentionally and not getting caught in these patterns where we're just reacting to feelings and reacting to the world, as opposed to making active choices about how we want to spend our time. When you sit down and you start doing something and you notice yourself getting distracted, check in with yourself real quick. Like, stop and ask yourself, like, does where my attention is focused match my intention? I think that sentence might have been a grammatical nightmare, so apologies. Bear with me. Check in with yourself. If the answer is no, then maybe you should refocus. If the answer is yes, then you're doing fine, and keep going. And again, the idea of compassion, right? Self-compassion. Instead of getting angry at yourself for getting distracted, which is a normal, inevitable thing, acknowledge that it happened, acknowledge that it's understandable, and then just bring your attention back. The more you do it, the easier it gets. It is sort of like doing a little sort of mental exercise there. The more we use those executive functions, which is what we call sort of our ability to focus and direct it and all that stuff, the better they get. This little picture of the puppy and the cat. It's meant to inspire compassion. You can really think about your brain almost as sort of an adorable little puppy or kitten. It is their nature to get distracted, and you would never, hopefully, please don't tell me if you would, like yell just awful vicious things at a puppy for getting distracted by a butterfly, as opposed to gently corralling it back to what it's supposed to be doing. So a thing to think about. Another thing, stop. I actually just alluded to this. This is sort of we love acronyms. That's like a big thing in our field. It's a thing in many fields, but we really love acronyms. This is one way to really think about how you can stop and assess. I can't use any other word than stop now. Ooh. Stop and assess and refocus your attention in those moments where you find yourself getting distracted. So you have a feeling, you start feeling anxious. You want to avoid that feeling. Or, somebody calls for your attention, or you get a notification, or you find that you have been distracted. Instead of just like reacting and doing something, maybe just like stop. Don't like move, just like interrupt, hit pause, right? Like once you have done that, you can really take a step back and sort of honestly assess the situation. Take a breath. Like don't make this some sort of anxious, like, oh, I've got to refocus. Like give yourself some space. Take a step back, take a breath, observe, notice what is happening. What is the thing that's distracted you? Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it something external? Notice the reactions that you're having. It might be anxiety, it might be excitement, it might be just like dread or just something like that. Notice those things, acknowledge that they're happening, and then make a choice about where to proceed from that point. Either maybe the best thing to do is just to refocus your attention on the task at hand and proceed forward and trust that those feelings are going to pass over time, and that by working on the thing you agreed to use your time for, you're going to feel better overall. That's a really helpful sort of way to intervene in those moments where you find yourself getting distracted. This is super, super popular. The Pomodoro technique. Probably many of you have heard of it. And for those of you who haven't, I'm so excited to be the person who just gets to revolutionize your life today. The Pomodoro technique is just an easy way to use our time on purpose and to acknowledge the fact that it's actually best to do things in small, like bursts of time and attention and give ourselves space to take a break and then return and do that over and over again, as opposed to doing like a 6-hour marathon study session where we end up just like running ourselves into the ground. So identify your tasks, which we've talked about different ways to do that. Then sit down, choose which one is the most important, that like top left square in the matrix, and set a timer for 25 minutes. You can play around with this a little bit, but 25 minutes, honestly, like there are good reasons for it to be that long. Work, set the timer, work until you hear it go off. You set a timer so you don't have to constantly be checking the clock and distracting yourself that way. You just get to work until you hear that noise, and then take a 5-minute break. So we're doing 30-minute chunks of time here. And if you're doing this for like a long period of time, right, as you're thinking about structuring whole days and whole chunks of time, after every 4th break, so after every hour, I think, don't question me on that math. No, that would be every 2 hours. Take a longer break of about 15 to 30 minutes, right? Breaks and giving yourself space to like breathe, to recharge is super, super crucial. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. How do you actually take good breaks? What are good breaks, right? How do I use that time? First thing, again, back to this intentional use of time, set a time limit. Like I'm going to give myself 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes between these bursts. And based on that amount of time, you kind of have a sense of like, what are some activities? What are some ways I can use this break? Is this a good time to maybe, send a couple, do people use Snapchat anymore? I don't know. Send a couple of messages, chat with some friends. Maybe you go for a break, go for a walk. Maybe you eat a snack of some sort, you get some water, do some sort of exercise, some stretching or something like that. You do like some mindfulness exercises. Anything like that. There's all sorts of ideas on this. I'm sure you can also just like do a little research as into other inspiration for ways to use your time. This is super important. There's no need to be just like a grueling taskmaster who's just like grinding your way through all this stuff without having any positive, like restful time periods. In fact, the experience of subjecting ourselves to just these like miserable stretches of time where we're just gunning for the goal is part of what reinforces this procrastination process, because we start thinking of doing our work as this miserable, interminable sort of process that like gets in the way of us having a good time. Make this a part of it. So last little bit here, we're coming to the last few slides, and then we'll have time for Q&A, as Simone said earlier. Getting support. It's really easy, especially in our culture and especially in our academic culture, to approach doing classes, doing your education as this really sort of isolated, just self thing, as opposed to a thing that can be done as a community, right? So challenging that is really helpful. Having somebody to hold you accountable is super helpful because it's really easy to be motivated to make choices that are, more procrastination than they are actually working towards our goals. So think about who in your life can you rely on to collaborate with, in whatever way this looks like. Maybe this looks like sitting in the same room together and doing the Pomodoro technique together, or sitting on a FaceTime call and setting the timer and working for that 25 minutes, and then having a few minutes to check in and chat, and then doing it over again. I actually do this with one of my friends a lot, and it's really, really helpful because it's just less lonely. You get a chance to check in. You're looking forward to some time to chat, to socialize a bit. Maybe you've got roommates who are really helpful and would be willing to work with you to check in, to provide a little external motivation, friends, romantic partners, etc. But as you think about this, think about how do you actually want to be supported? What's good for you? What works for you? Is maybe having a somewhat sarcastic person who is gonna kind of rag you a little bit for not doing it helpful, or is that actually just gonna contribute to your procrastination, and you need maybe somebody who's a little bit more compassionate and who's willing to just sort of to be gentle and kind with you? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you really respond to knowing that if you don't do this 25 minutes of your work and get this thing done by the end of the day, that your friend is going to sort of gently mock you a little bit. It's probably, it depends on the relationship. Assess that for yourself. And also, as you think about this, we're thinking about building a community here, right? Doing things together. Think about how you want to support other people. What are the things that you can offer? What are the skills that you have that can really help the people in your life? These are all just really important things to think about. Just overall ripple effects, right? Apps. We are in the age of apps, and many of them are great. I love the Forest app because I get to feel like I'm growing trees every time I do what I'm supposed to do. Feels great. Maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe it does. That's a great one to look into. We've got other apps like Stay Focused and Freedom, the sort of, it's like parental controls, but for your executive functioning, to block websites, block your access to websites, password protect them, or set them to a timer, that kind of stuff. It can really just make it that much harder for you to impulsively distract yourself, to reach for Twitter, to reach for TikTok. Oh, man, a potent distractor. Other things, the more you can actually track the time that you're spending on projects is really helpful in several ways. Because, research is very consistent. We constantly underestimate the amount of time it takes us to get activities done. So if you can actually spend some time, honestly tracking the amount of time it takes that you're spending on each project, not only does that give you an extra chance to be like, okay, I spent time on things today that I was not planning on, that did not match my intention. It also gives you more ammunition to sort of estimate for yourself as you go forward with other tasks. How much time is it actually going to take me to work on this paper? How much time is it going to take me to work on this project? It just makes it that much easier for you to estimate that accurately, which is super important. There are apps for Pomodoro, or there are Pomodoro timers, because that's where it got its name from. Little tomato shape, they're precious. And there are just countless others that are worth looking into, doing some research on there. You do a little Googling or something, you're going to turn up just so much stuff. And finally, resources on campus. There's a lot of them. There's tutoring of various sorts, just a lot of it. That's a long list. So look into that for sure. We've got McBurney, the Disability Resource Center, who can help with accommodations and help with advocacy and liaison services. Then we've got UHS and a bunch of different resources there, including psychiatry, if you need help with mental health in that way. We've got individual counseling of various sorts, the ongoing sort, which can really be helpful if you're really needing some extra consistent support to help you make some changes to the things that are contributing to procrastination. And of course, other things, but we're in a procrastination presentation, so that's what I'm going to talk about. Single sessions, which is a low commitment. You get set up with somebody to meet with them once and to review and to get some support, to get some techniques, that sort of stuff. Then we've got wellness services, assessment, let's talk, drop in, self-care stuff. Just a lot of stuff. Always feel free to reach out and ask questions about what other resources exist or how you might access these resources. We would love to provide whatever support we can. And I believe that brings us to the Q&A session. So I'd love to hear what people are curious about.
So if anyone has questions for Blake, please feel free to submit them now. Like I will say, I am someone who very much needs the app timers.
Oh God, so badly.
I found myself trying to set the amount of time I spend on each thing
How's that working?
to varying degrees of
It's a process, yeah. Me too. I think that's always such an important part of stuff like this, is that like it's not going to be a switch you get to flip. Like these are patterns and they've existed probably for a long time, and like be willing to experiment and be creative and give yourself time to sort of play around and figure out what actually works for you and what doesn't. Like, that's super important. I have to remind myself of that constantly, because I'll like read a suggestion and be like, well, that didn't work. I can't believe that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Ugh. And then you just get caught up in that whole process.
How would you suggest people go about finding the rewards that work for them?
That's a really great question. I mean, think about like, what are the things that like bring you pleasure? What are the things that like you really like to seek out, you know? What actually motivates you in your life? Like what have you found like you have put energy towards seeking out for yourself? Whether that just be a really great snack, or it be, you know, a special social event or time with friends or something like that. Like, you know, this is again a sort of experiment thing. Be creative with it and really look at the things that, there are some things that seem like great like motivators. Like I actually can't motivate myself. Like I know some people who will do the like put an M&M at the end of every paragraph of your, and you only get to eat it once you've read the paragraph. Does not work for me, because I can just pick it up and funnel them into my mouth. You know, that does not work for me. But things like time with friends really tend to motivate me, because if I have to like tell my friends, sorry, no, I got to call this off because I actually didn't use my time the way I said I was going to, and I've got to do that. That just like feels bad. It's an accountability thing. Like, you know, I have somebody who's going to be holding me accountable, and yeah, I'll just be sad if I don't get to have that time with somebody. So that has been something that's really worked for me. So yeah, it's another sort of thing of honestly sort of assess like what has motivated you this semester, what has motivated you in previous semesters, like what is like manageable, and be creative with it. Experiment some.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not seeing any other questions. So I just want to say thank you, Blake. I hope everyone feels more confident in coping with procrastination now. And thank you to all of our participants for attending. Please make sure that you visit the Summit website at wellbeingsummit.wis.edu for other events we have going on throughout the day. And you can join using that same Zoom link for all of the sessions. Our next session is called Leading and Living Well on Becoming a Peer Wellness Coach. And that one starts at 3 p.m. Oh, and it looks like as I was talking, a question came in. So Blake, do you want to take this one real quick? How do we recognize proper breaks or need for relaxation, or having actual problems in getting ourselves to do a task, from actually giving ourselves reasons to just sort of be plain lazy?
Give me just a second. I gotta parse a little bit. Proper breaks, need for relaxation. Right. Huh. That's a great question. I think several different things come to mind. I mean, the first one being, you know, again, I guess I keep going back to this because it just feels so important to really like be honest with yourself and really spend some time reflecting on your process to this point. Like, how have things worked for you and not worked for you? What are the things that are actually influencing you? And when you sit down to do work, like that takes some reflection to really recognize, like, okay, I am just being avoidant because I am feeling anxious. Like I really just don't feel motivated, and that's really the the motivation for my desire to take a break. This is also a piece, I think, why it's so important to plan these things out and to really set clear intentions for yourself. Um, because the more that you have set sort of clear, manageable timeframes for yourself, the more that you have actively sort of planned like break time and relaxation time. And this does include sort of outside the Pomodoro, right? Like this includes like you should not be spending every waking second of your life like working on these things. Like the things that should be prioritized in the little matrix do include regular daily / weekly, depending on the kind of like task, like activities that you are passionate about, find relaxing, find enjoyable. So the more that is already built into it and it's reliable and you have learned that you can count on those breaks because you have set them up for yourself, first of all, it's going to make it like less likely that you're going to feel as avoidant as often. And also it's going to really help you recognize in those moments, like I've literally got a break coming up in like an hour and I'm sitting here finding myself just like desperate to escape this task. Like maybe it's just me feeling avoidant. I will maybe avoid my soapbox about the word lazy because I am an enemy of the concept of lazy. I'm an enemy of it. Uh, I think it's a very unhelpful framework, and it's a very sort of self-judgment way of thinking about maybe you're anxious or you're avoidant or you're tired, not like lazy, you know. So, okay, I soapboxed a little bit, but I'll resist the rest of it. Hopefully that feels helpful.
Thanks. Any last questions before you wrap up? Or Blake, any last pearls of wisdom you want to drop for us?
Oh man, I just, so many pearls, but I couldn't call them wise.
Looks like we got one more question. Nope, nope. Just a thank you.
Ah, glad to hear it. You are very welcome. Thank you for the question. It's a very good one.
Thanks
I
again to Blake, and
thank you
again,
for the
join us back.
opportunity.
Yeah, join us back here at 3 o'clock for our next session. Thanks, everyone. Bye.